depending on the situation, despite them being so godly and whatnot, you know.
And vice
I
versa.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
From
Wait, what
evil
do you mean by
to,
that?
he means
so
from good to evil, even though they went to church and turned so evil after
nah,
that.
dude,
But it's
nah, nah,
vice
nah.
versa
So
too. Evil people
let
do
me tell
that
you
to
some
turn
shit.
to
Let me tell you
God.
some shit. I'm gonna lay down some real shit right here, right? So back in like I'd say 2010, my sister came out as gay, and she was like, I want to live my real truth. She was about 17 years old,
Yeah.
and this is 2010, so it's not even legal yet. Shit like that, like it's so still so like fresh on people's minds. Um, I watched my mom and my pastor and my whole community that I had spent 10 years in and like loved and like knew everybody
Yeah.
literally break my sister down
Crazy.
and destroy her and banish my entire family for that, and then like destroy my family and all the stuff that came with the community of church,
Uh,
because like I grew up very poor and very like aware of my situation and knew that like a church place was a safe space for
yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and that whole thing got wiped
So
from me.
so let me
And I've
ask.
just experienced that multiple times in multiple different situations. So I personally understand why people are godly in church and whatnot, but I no longer have a relationship, not with God, but just with that type of
Yeah.
community because I've seen it turn so
Well, let
fast.
me ask you two
Like
questions.
I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy.
Let me ask you
But
two questions, but before you answer the first one, I'm going to ask you the second one, so I'm just going to ask both of them. Did the church
yeah.
treat her with love when she came out? And then do you relate the church's actions to God's character? And then go ahead and.
I would say they did not.
Exactly.
They literally banished us from church. They told the whole community. I lived in Arkansas in a small town,
Crazy.
right outside of Little Rock, and it was taken very harshly. My sister got beat
Oh
by
my
my
goodness.
pastor. He tried to beat her the shit out of her. My mom sent her to camps. My mom beat her. Like I mean, I always grew up with abuse and whatnot, and that's not even just saying anything, but like I always thought that was like with it because
But
of how I experienced that type of shit.
but do
So
you
like
relate what the church did to your sister and what your mom did to your sister? Do you relate that to God's character?
I don't relate that to God's character. I also think that God is
Damn.
something that
Hold
we
up. That
can.
was crazy. Listen, bro, I'm not religious. He just asked you that, and I thought you were gonna say yes. So honestly, like,
No.
I can't even believe you said no.
Listen,
No?
listen, listen. I think it's not like a he or a thing that Christianity has talked about. It is something that nobody could ever understand until they're in that situation. So again, I don't think we have the right idea of what God is or what we're
Well,
actually fucking here for.
well, we're I
Genuinely,
anything
I believe
yeah.
that the Bible and all that shit is really fucking propaganda on a lot of
See,
stuff
but there
that did happen. There's some historic events. I believe
yeah.
Jesus was a person and he did good things, but I don't think that he's the son of God. And I think if we
But
are
you
all
believe
God's
Jesus,
children
but that's
on
what
this type
Jesus
of shit,
said. So do you
nah,
believe
bro.
what Jesus
Listen,
said out his mouth, or cuz you
do
said you
you know
believe
that Jesus
Jesus?
said that shit, dog? Do
That
you know that Jesus said
listen,
that
okay,
shit?
let me ask you
No.
a
You could
question.
just it could be the same. Listen, bro, it could be the same thing as Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesus.
I'll let
They
you
could be the
finish, but let
same
me ask you
fucking
a question
person from
after.
two different timelines. And just because we wrote books about Martin Luther King and other people could also take that 200 years, 300 years in the future and call him a messiah or something and twist his words and make him seem like that. We have no actually idea of what Jesus was or who he was,
Right.
you know. So my thing is that it has been pushed by hundreds of different fucking churches that have also crucified and killed so many fucking people behind this fucking
Do you know what the
truth
people
that
who got
this
crucified,
person,
burned at the stake were saying? They were saying that what Jesus said was
dog,
true. They're getting burned at the stake, and they're testifying that what Jesus said was true. So, do you believe what they were saying? Because they weren't saying what the church was saying. So, do you believe
dog,
what they were saying?
Hold on, wait,
how
hold
do you
on a
know
second,
that's
hold
a
on a
real
second. Wait,
story?
wait,
That's not even
hold
a
on a
real
second.
Okay,
story.
Bro, wait,
That's
hold on a
that's
second.
history. That's history, brother.
it's
Bro,
not
bro, hold
history.
on.
Okay,
That's
Wait,
literally that's
go
a
ahead.
passed down
Go ahead.
story
Let
in a
Vlad
book
talk.
that's been changed over a
bro,
That's
bro,
thousand
not
bro,
in the
bro,
times.
Bible.
bro,
That's
hold
not in
on,
the Bible.
bro.
Go ahead, let Vlad talk.
Then
Knock,
where's that from?
are you if someone comes up to you tomorrow, right, and they're like, Knock, I got God's will in me,
Yeah.
how likely are you to believe in them? Honestly.
Oh,
I have
that's the best part.
people that are
He's
like
talking to me.
that,
He's talking to me, brother.
and
That's the best part.
No, I'm
I
talking.
think.
I want to Knock. No, I want Knock to know
Oh,
because
you
Knock
want
was
to know?
responding.
Okay.
Knock was responding.
My bad. My
I'm
bad.
telling you, bro. I guess, bro. I kind of, you kind of, nah. You guys have both these
Great argument.
incredibly complex relationships with these things that I don't have any relationship with, bro.
So
It
yeah,
just
you can
makes me
just
kind of
learn
like
from it unbiasedly. So let me assess this though, because Brole just said that people weren't burned at the stake for testifying that what Jesus said was true, because he thought I was saying something that happened in the Bible, and he believes, that it was made up stories. Bro, do you know that what I just said, people have been burned at the stake, dog, in the 16th century, 1600 years after Jesus died. Brother, people have been burned at the stake for saying, yes, we just need scripture, we just need grace, we just need faith. That's what Jesus was preaching. And the church didn't believe that, though. The church was calling it a heresy and burning people at the stake. It actually happened. History. Now, if you don't believe me, Google it.
Dog, I'm just saying those same people who did that, they were the ones who won. You know what I mean?
No, what I'm
Those
saying
same
though
people
is, if Jesus said
made
something
those
out his mouth, how
who
else
won.
would we know other than a written document?
So
hold on.
let me understand this.
How
Let me
you
see
trust
your
your?
viewpoint on all different types of religion.
Yeah,
So
surely.
like, are you strictly Christian, or are you like have a relationship with God? Because there's such a difference between
Mm,
Baptist, Christian, Methodist,
what's the difference?
everything, genuinely.
Do you
It's just the
differentiate?
way, it's different depictions of the same book.
But
It's just how you view it.
this is what
I'm
I
saying
believe.
different religions entirely,
Yeah,
like
surely.
outside of Jesus being the one and God being the guy with the fucking long hair and a beard.
No,
What
right.
religions do you think could be more accurate to your experience in life
Firstly,
other than that?
I'd like you to find in the Bible where it says God has a beard. I want to see that, because we have
I'm just
misconceptions.
saying,
We have
you
misconceptions
have
of
like the Catholic Church and the Baptist, everybody has the same depiction of God, even though we all are Jesus, and we all know that Jesus in that area, in that timeline, would not be that fucking look, you know?
So what is the
Obviously
look?
that's not
Why is
like,
the
so
look?
what else if
Right.
they changed the
Well,
look
no,
of the
no,
person,
but no, Knock,
what
but
else
Knock,
have
don't
they
act dumb.
changed
Don't
so
act dumb, Knock. Don't
detrimental?
act dumb, Knock. Because he's saying, look, he's saying control white people and make Jesus look like them. So obedience. You're not retarded. You know exactly what he's saying.
Correct.
So let's
Yeah.
start there. So why did they do that?
Okay. Why would they do that, guys? Because if somebody wants to depict themselves as a certain race or a better race than other people, what would it look like? This is what it would look like, guys. We're not worried about that, because you guys, we'll argue all day about, oh well, that's not how Jesus looked, but we won't argue all day about that's not what Jesus taught. Right? There's a difference, right? Because we're arguing all day about what Jesus looked like for our entertainment. We don't care what Jesus
No,
died.
no, no. It's
Right? Go
not just
ahead.
entertainment, Knock. Remember, it's not just entertainment, bro, because
No.
optics are the lifebread of all communication.
Let's go to
Remember,
the
in
wars after this.
2007, Donald Trump did a Comedy Central interview where they dogged on him for being the biggest retard in the world. 5 years later, he's the president of the world. I don't actually need to teach you this because you already know how optics works. That's why I'm on this stream with you. But like,
Right.
look, bro. Look, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it was fucked up. White people did to the world,
But that was their
using
choice.
vanity.
God won't never
But
come in
dog,
between your
listen,
free will
I'm
and your
telling you, the
choice.
same way that you can view
Uh,
Jesus, you can view in 400 years Martin Luther King. If people
What?
change the
whoa,
history
What are
of
you
it, like
talking about,
whoa,
brother?
they
bro,
are both influential people who are very
Brother, you're
humanitarians
you're
that
being
loved
recorded.
and fought for rights and fought for equality. Those are two
Martin Luther
people
did not
in
die on
history
a
that they are
cross and
real,
say it
but
is
they could
finished.
be, their words
no,
could
he's
be
saying okay.
misconstrued
Did
and
you hear what he
changed,
said,
bro.
bro? But did you hear what he said? He's saying that he doesn't have the magic power at the end of the story. That's what he said. There's no magic power in Martin Luther King. He can't be God. There's no magic
He
power.
died the same way. Like he got killed for
He
what
doesn't have
He
magic
died the
power. You need
same
some
way.
proof, bro.
you know?
You
Yeah,
need magic
Jesus
proof.
He died
and
comfortably in a
Martin Luther
bed
King
in
both
the hospital. I'm
died.
not saying his death was comfortable, but he was literally in a bed in the hospital. Jesus
He was
died after they
assassinated.
beat him and pulled his beard from his face.
They both were assassinated.
You
That's true.
okay? But what would you argue was worse, being crucified or dying in a hospital?
They both were assassinated.
What would you argue was worse, being
They
crucified
both
or?
were killed by
I'm not
what they're
asking.
fighting
I'm not
for. They
asking
both
that,
were assassinated.
bro. You know what I'm
I'm
asking though.
just saying, dog. I'm saying you can
But
see
why
the
are we running
same
from the
type of
question? I
shit
know what you're saying.
if
I
in
see. I
300
understand
Bro, just
your
answer the question.
view.
Answer
300
his
years,
question.
it could be
Answer his
changed.
question. Bro, just answer his question before. Would you rather get crucified or die in a hospital? That's an easy one. It's an easy
It's an easy one. I
He was,
shouldn't. I
bro,
don't
was
even have to
most
ask it.
likely
But you're
already
running
dead
from the
before he got
answer.
to the hospital. It's
one.
not
No,
like he was in the
no,
hospital
nah,
for hours
nah,
or
I don't
days.
think
Okay.
I don't think you're right in the way you're
It was
looking at
maybe
it, though, because
maybe a few
Yeah.
hours
Ask me
before he
another
was dead.
question, Vlad.
dog, look, bro. If you don't have the magic powers at the end of the story, Jesus is not shit. No offense, I love Jesus. But
I
if the second part of the
understand.
story doesn't happen, nothing happens.
Now look.
All I'm saying
Now.
is,
bro.
all
Okay.
it takes is a couple lies, and Martin Luther King came back from the dead 1,000 years in the future. All it takes is a couple lies, and then we got a new.
Now
I'm
look.
not no bro.
Now look. I'm glad you said that, Vlad. You said
just
all it takes
saying,
is a
it's-
couple. All it takes is a couple lies, right?
accurate,
So now, if it only takes a couple lies, we have libraries filled with both Hebrew and Greek of information. Jesus is the most factual human being ever in history, guys. There's more evidence for his. He has.
What was his favorite color?
There's more evidence for his existence than there is of Egyptian pharaohs. Do you guys understand that?
That's cap.
I don't know
Okay,
if
see,
that's
Brole,
true,
you
bro.
haven't done the
That's
homework,
cap.
guys. You got. Okay.
That's so cap
Okay.
that you just said that. I'm sorry. That's so
See,
cap.
Oh wait, hold on. So
That's-
you're saying
so you
that
think
Jesus
I'm
is the
lying?
most what?
He's the
No, but
I
you're
think
most.
saying
that's cap.
Jesus is the most what?
Okay. There is more
He's the most
evidence.
actual person.
There's more historical evidence for Jesus at being a real person, Jesus of Nazareth, dying at 33, man from the
I'm
Middle
not saying
East,
he's not a real
than
person.
there
I said he's a real
is of
person.
Egyptian pharaohs. Some Egyptian pharaohs have less text contributed to them than Jesus does,
They're
guys.
older. Way
Well, does that
older.
make your life better?
No, I'm just saying, like, cause you're like there. That's just simply like validifying the text, like, cause I don't believe that Jesus is God because he had magical superpowers or raised himself from that. That's not why I believe Jesus is God, because he said, "I am the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega." Guys, this is what he
Bro,
said.
any YouTuber could say that today.
And would
Any
I
YouTuber
believe
could say
them?
that today.
I wouldn't believe them if
No,
they
but if
didn't
you-
lay
if
their
you-
life
if
down
you-
for it.
Some people do believe it.
Based on what
Some people
happened,
do believe
based on what
it.
happened, if he came back from the dead, you might believe him. Based on the stuff
Exactly.
you talked about.
Hey man, he could have also not even died. He could have had a low pulse. You know, they didn't have great medical shit.
A
Back
low
then.
pulse after they
didn't
beat
know.
him and then crucify him. You're tweaking, bro. You're
Hey
recorded.
man, he could have just.
You're
been
gonna go
low
back
on
and watch
health,
this
bro,
and
needed
see
a
that.
fucking
Man,
boost.
you're going to hell.
Dog.
You're going to hell for that one. I don't
No,
think Jesus
because
is gonna like
look,
that one, bro.
no, because people
Bro,
literally it
if
says in the
hell's
Bible.
real, we're
Go ahead.
already in it, bro. Hell
Yeah,
is
no,
Earth,
no.
and fucking
See, that's
the next-
another
the next
misconception
planet
that people have, is that hell is
That's
on
the
earth.
truth,
Guys,
dog.
hell has
It
nothing good. God does not exist in
Oh
hell.
my God.
Everything good comes from God. Light comes from God. Love comes from God. The ability to choose comes from God, guys.
Son,
There's none of that in hell.
Too
So
much.
you think that we're
Yeah, it's too
living
much.
you think that we're living on hell, but no, because we have light, we have love, we have the ability to choose. There's none of that in hell. It's
if
only
you follow
torment.
the Bible, and if you read the Bible, and I've read the Bible, and I've spent many years in church and whatnot, it
And
literally
whatnot.
depicts that hell is Earth, and Earth is controlled by
Is
the devil,
Earth a
and that
lake
is
of
why all
fire?
these evil things.
Does the Bible depict
Yes.
Earth as a lake of fire?
Oh, you think
Yes,
hell's a lake of fire, bro? Dog, come on, that's dumb as fuck.
that
There's
is
no way.
so. That is
There's
so
no way.
like.
Guys, I'm
Bro,
gonna give you
that is
scripture, because
just
I'm
a
not
fucking
saying this. The
analogy.
Holy Bible, God's
This,
holy
what
word
we
is
live
saying
in
this.
is hell. We live in hell. If we are going by the Bible, this is hell. We
Guys,
are in
can I
hell
read
right
you
now.
something?
We are experiencing pain and human air and like every emotion possible. Yes,
I'm gonna let
there's
you
Jesus
finish.
still in fucking, or not Jesus, God in hell. Yes, obviously, but everything is controlled by people we have no fucking knowledge of. You know what I mean? Like genuinely, if we are going by the Bible, this would be hell. We have no control over anything in our lives.
That's misconception. I'm gonna let you finish though.
No, that's not misconception.
Okay, well,
you have,
can I
the
read
only
you
thing you have
something?
is free will on what you do every day, and that's
Can I
about
read
it.
you something?
You can choose if you want to kill somebody, but obviously, like, it's not the smartest decision.
See, bro, you're smart, but
I
you
read that
don't know
shit.
how to have a good conversation. See, you speak, and then you
Nah,
let
bro.
somebody else speak, and then you speak, and then you let somebody else speak.
Because you
Can I read you something,
saying
yes
stuff
or no?
about everything being. I'm just saying.
Can I
if-
read you something,
if
yes or
what
no?
We,
Let him read it.
dog,
Like,
I'm
for
telling
real,
you,
it's-
the
you
Bible,
don't know how to
whatever
have a-
version- What,
I don't
what
need you
version
to
are
tell me
reading
anything.
now?
I'm asking you, can I read you something?
Bro, what
You don't
version
have
are
to
reading
believe it.
now?
I
That's
just
what
want to
wanna
read
know.
it to you.
He's reading the King James Bible.
Brother, I just
If
want
he's
to read
reading the
it to
King
you.
James, that's some bullshit, bro.
Which version do you want me to read?
Show me.